everyone, it's Crystal McGregor here from Tech Ready Women, and I am here today with Rachel Worsley from the Neurodiversity Media. How are you, Rachel?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. So excited to hear more about your business. So please tell me, what's the elevator pitch?
So in the world, there's 1 in 8 people are neurodivergent, and that means that there are a lot of us in the workplace. However, most of the time people don't really know about us in terms of our strengths. So neurodivergent meaning people are autistic, ADHD, dyslexic, dyspraxic, Tourette's, dysgraphia, for example. We're all in the workplace, but both neurodivergent people and employers don't actually know how to help each other. So it's a two-sided problem. So our solution is the resource library, which is all-in-one evidence-based learning platform for the neurodivergent employment life cycle. So there are articles and all in one place. There are articles, infographics, and lots of different types of resources about how do you be your best self in the workplace? How do you do project management in the workplace? How do you accommodate someone who's autistic in the workplace and adjust interview strategies and techniques? So so we serve both individuals and also employers. Bring together a community of people around resources to help empower them to fulfill their potential in the workplace.
What a fantastic idea. How did you come up with it?
So when I was in 2018, I was diagnosed with autism and ADHD, and I was wondering, how do I disclose my diagnosis to my boss at the time, or how do I try and help him understand how to work with me better? But when I tried to go on Google or look up resources, most of the resources I found were not evidence-based. They were poorly written. They were written in a very academic way. There were plenty of research papers on the topic, but it was just in all this jargon that no one understood. So I have a background in medical journalism and legal marketing, and I decided that this material that I was finding in the research literature could be better simplified and better accessible for people. And so that's how I founded Neurodiversity Media and first helped people to connect with other neurodivergent people through marketing. And then I went on to build the resource library with all these different resources that are based on scientific evidence and trying to make them in different formats like infographics, because people who are neurodivergent all learn differently, I suppose. And so that's how I kind of came up with the business idea.
Wow. So what a great solution for a problem that you yourself were facing.
Yeah, it's I think some of the best ideas, I suppose, from your experience.
And so what were you doing before you started the business?
So I worked in journalism, so reporting on research papers that I found in the medical literature, and reporting on political and clinical news for doctors. I also worked in marketing, doing content marketing for 2 law firms, and that's what I did before I started a business.
Wow, multi-talented.
Thank you.
And so what were the main challenges you were facing before you started with Tech Ready Women?
So I think the biggest challenge for me was trying to engage with the corporate market, so HR and D&I people in those markets, because I guess my work history has only been in medium or small businesses, and I have, I guess, a lot of interest in the space of neurodiversity. I kind of compare it to like gender, race, and all those D&I groups, like the Neurodiversity Next D&I group. So I realized I was trying to pitch my business to the same sort of D&I groups as well. But yeah, I just didn't know how to approach them, I suppose. So that was a massive challenge I had before entering the program. And and I suppose other challenges are, we had a tech platform that took memberships and all that, but we didn't know how to grow that freemium self-service platform. So that was also another challenge. Those were the main challenges, I think, for us.
Yeah. So you've got the idea, you're accepted into Tech Ready Women. Tell me about the process that you undertook while in the program.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the program was focusing on, what was the best way to reach out to HR and D&I, and also focus on kind of our value proposition and the customer segments, because I guess we were overwhelmed by so many different types of people approaching us. Like people saying, go down the NDIS route or go down this other route. And we go, okay, well, we have to focus on one or two things at a time. So I think the program really helped us focus, on this two-sided marketplace, I suppose. So that was kind of a very important sort of realization. So kind of being able to come up with a value proposition that was, we provide professionally curated platform learning resources that equip neurodivergent professionals and employers with the evidence-based knowledge and tools to unleash potential in the global workplace. And I guess the program really helped us come to that point, because we had to be really specific about the two-sided market we were facing, or we would just completely go off the rails in terms of being distracted. I think also the program really helped us focus on, different types of revenue streams, like content licensing to corporates, perhaps, monthly donations as well as on top of our pro memberships for individuals that we had, and also other kind of like future revenue streams like accreditation. So yeah, the program's really helped a lot with those aspects.
Yeah, good. Great to hear. And so what happened after the program finished?
So we decided that we just needed to do more research and reaching out to people. So I focus on kind of a content creation kind of aspect, as well as a way to get that research and test for that interest. So we just kind of sat down and just focused on putting out recent content. So for example, one of the most recent content that generated a lot of debate was autistic women facing sexist expectations in the workplace. And that was based on a UK researcher who came up with it. And it just raised a lot of interesting data and interests, I suppose, in terms of how this is a major problem in the workplace. And it gives us an insight to help us approach HR and D&I departments, I suppose, about, okay, here's the evidence for this issue and all that, but here's how we can help. Because we found a lot of the reason that HR and D&I departments were kind of hesitant about the areas because they want to do their research first, and this area is still new and growing. And so that's why we just kind of decided to focus on that, because that's kind of our it's kind of content marketing route to getting that sale, I suppose. We found that's kind of been the more effective strategy to build those long-term relationships with them rather than a straight out sale. That's something that we've learned as well in the program, which is it takes a long time. It's a long sales cycle. So yeah, we're finding that creating the content first is kind of essential to trying to get that sale eventually.
Yeah, that's good. And interesting that you say that the research wasn't there. So you're, linking the research to the problem, to what they actually might be facing within their workplaces, which is great.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's critical. That's why people need to do their research first before they buy into something. So for us, half the battle for this business is to kind of get over that hoop first. And once they trust us, they come to us, as experts in, do you want to give a speech on this topic? Or do you want to, speak to someone in our company? That's how I've gotten opportunities like that through the business. It's through putting out really good content.
Yeah, great. So as a woman in tech entrepreneurship, what barriers have you had to overcome?
A fair few. I think I've been to some investor pitches in the past, and I think being neurodivergent female held me back, because I know it doesn't seem like it in this interview, but sometimes I'm kind of hesitant and not able to articulate when put under pressure. I know lots of people do, but for me, I actually like written communication, and I find written communication sort of my preferred strategy. And I've obviously just trained a lot to this point to be able to give verbal interviews and stuff. But sometimes that can be tricky in certain investor meetings, and it's not their fault. They're all amazing. They've given lovely feedback and stuff, but sometimes I think that's a challenge I face. I think. Okay,
so brag moment. Do you have any wins that you'd like to share with us?
Like recently, we launched a new website. That's kind of a win. So that was it just makes it easier for people to access our content now. So that's a major win for us. We had to get off our old platform and transition to a new platform just to make it easier for our people. So now people are able to access our content better than before. So yeah, that's a major win for us.
Yeah, that's a definite win. So tell me, what's next for the business?
I think we're still in the content creation phase, so trying to make sure we put on good content, trying to nurture our leads in the corporate space. So we have, one major international business who are interested in coaching and training opportunities with us, but we still have to work with them. So I think continuing to nurture our relationships with, our leads at the moment, and just continue to put out good content and see how we go from there.
Yeah, great. And is there anything that our networks can help you with right now?
Look, any connections with corporate HR and D&I people who are interested in neurodiversity, who are interested in hiring myself as a speaker or training and coaching opportunities, I would love to hear from them.
Fantastic. Well, we'll put the call out to all our Tech Ready Women mentors and alumni. Rachel, thank you so much for being on today, and we look forward to hearing more about your business in the future.
No, thank you very much for this.